How about now?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode where we have a plethora of messages to cover. Some of those messages that we're going to cover include one where we're going to talk about Teams allowing you to actually view chat when you're sharing your screen. That should be fun. SharePoint is dabbling even more in list forms options for you. We'll talk about that and, the question of what to use when. And when someone sends you a message in Teams with a file, you'll be able to use Copilot in wonderful ways with that file. We'll talk about that and more in this week's episode. Stick around. Let's roll it. I didn't give it too much away, right, Daryl? Sometimes, Daryl, you fuss at me because I do the intro and I basically read the message and then it's like, well, we're done. We can close the episode.
We are. Yeah, well, just add B-roll over the top and show some nice graphics and people will get it. Pictures, show, not tell. Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Episode 367. We are quickly getting closer to 400, although we won't celebrate it because remember, Daryl doesn't celebrate.
Oh, come on now.
So, want to let everyone know we've really enjoyed, haven't we, Daryl, the comments that people have been posting on the video episodes as well as in socials. Greatly appreciate the interaction. And just want to encourage you to do it more. Do some more, help each other out and interact. We'd love to see that. So thank you for doing
Daniel,
that.
something else that occurs to me.
Okay.
Many people who do watch and use YouTube to catch up with things, the algorithm does a great job of suggesting content because perhaps you've got into the habit of watching the 365 Message Center show. But maybe you haven't subscribed. Maybe you're just seeing it because you're in that habit and YouTube helpfully delivers that content to you. Do you want to just make sure? Hit that subscribe button. That'll help. And if you want to get that alert, as soon as that episode drops, then do so. Hit that bell. But it just makes a difference. I know there's a few people or channels that I watch, Daniel, that I realize, oh, heck, I haven't actually subscribed. And I do. Eventually.
Yeah. And then once you subscribe, hit play on the episode and then just let all the episodes play in the background.
That would help us immensely. Yeah. You just put it on a laptop somewhere off in the background, turn the screen so that it's on all the time.
Go into the playlist, click the latest video, and just let it play all of the videos.
On repeat.
On repeat, yeah. Hilarious. Thank you for doing some of that. Maybe not all of that, but thank you for doing some of that. So hit us up on socials at 365MCS, all the socials that matter. We are there and love to say hi to you.
Oh, one that does matter more so these days, Daniel. I'll talk to you about setting up a Blue Sky handle. So we'll get there.
Does it matter? All right, let's jump into this.
Yeah,
I have a quick message for you, Daryl. But I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to give you the message under my name. I'm just going to give it to you as organizer. Okay. Microsoft Teams post and reply as organizer in Q&A. This is MC 1000272. Yes, we have hit the 100,000, 1 million, numbers.
Good point. Yeah. Wow.
I don't think we've had 1 million messages, though. Because they don't...
No.
I think they get lost in the... someone suggests 1 or 5. Because they're not in sequential order, right? So
I think it's like people's inbox in drafts, that there's a bunch of drafts there of people who've started typing up messages for the message center.
So 1,272 So this is really a functionality that I think other platforms have, and Teams is now going to get, is that when you're running Q&A, so this isn't chat, this is Q&A functionality, then as an organizer, you will be able to reply. You'll be able to choose whether when you're replying, do you show your name as the person replying or just list organizer. And that way, I think that helps give a kind of a unified front where if there's more than one person that is being that role of answering questions in Q&A as an organizer, then it can just be a unified front. Hey, this is the official answer to this question. And, for town halls or events that are public webinars, might not want your name being the source. It's an organizer. So pretty simple. We don't get any screenshots. I'll go off and cry about that. But the general availability for this, it'll be turned on by default, so you don't have to do anything to turn it on. General availability worldwide, GCC, will be rolling out mid-March 2025 and expected to be completed by late March. So just a quick one there. I think this is a good functionality. And again, I think it is feature comparison to all the other platforms that do this. So I think it's good. Daryl, I want to read my email better on my phone, on my iPhone.
Yep.
Is there any new features coming out for this?
Yeah. There's this Apple Intelligence thing that will read it out to you, and it'll give you really wacky summaries that may or may not be accurate. Look, Copilot might have the same problem. But that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about AI help, Daniel. We're talking about perhaps some parity with the desktop experience. A quick question to you, and feel free to answer once you've swallowed your water. Do you have any particular preference for when you open up a message on your desktop and you move it, flag it, delete it, whatever? Where would you like to go? The next message, the previous message? Do you want to go back to the list?
Go back to the list. That's my thing. I don't go to the next message. I want to go back to the list.
Okay. So this feature is just for iOS only, and it is about giving you those options on your, well, it does picture your phone. It doesn't say iPad OS, but anyway, the idea being that if you're trying to quickly work through your email, you don't want to be going back to the list necessarily. You might want to go to the next message or the previous message. Some of us scroll our way down to today, and we work our way from the bottom up, first in, first addressed. Some of us go to our inbox and just work our way down and down and down. The point here is that the feature allows you to choose that behavior or go back to the list as that third and current behavior. And if you delete your message, move your message, do something with it, it'll just open up the next message, whether it be up or down the list. So this is, it's just that quick way of keeping you in the flow to address those things. This is generally available, begin rolling out mid-February, expected to be complete by mid-March. That's worldwide, GCC, GCC High, and DoD, generally available. Fantastic. Daniel, we are now sort of turning on that Copilot button in terms of addressing that kind of news and those sorts of updates. Agents apparently I hear are a big thing. What's happening in that space?
Copilot Studio, Agent Builder, and Copilot Chat. MC 1003375. So this functionality, what they're talking about here is we're going to be able to create agents in Copilot Chat. So if you remember what this is Copilot Chat, is that free chat experience where you're able to use Copilot, but it's not, you're not licensed for it. But here we're able to create pay-as-you-go agents that will sit in that space where I'm using Copilot Chat. I can now pop in and use an agent that is a pay-as-you-go agent that, if you've set it up in your tenant to allow this. And I can create agents for those users to be able to use in that Copilot chat and be able to, connect to SharePoint and other connectors and be able to, give a good, rich experience there. So it's pretty simple here message, but this is something that has been highlighted. I think they started highlighting this was coming in last year at Ignite, I think is, with a lot of that kind of experience. Now the pay-as-you-go functionality is somewhat new, and we've covered it in several different ways, up, down, and sideways here on the show. But this feature is rolling out this week. So available on February 18th, 2025. It'll be generally available everywhere. So you'll be able to go in and create those agents in Copilot Studio and make those available for pay-as-you-go users. So people can use that. Now, go back and watch our other comments and commentary on pay-as-you-go. And there's also a link here to learn about Copilot Studio Agent Builder if you'd like to learn more in this message. So just a quick update for you, but February 18th, which is here in the States, is Tuesday. I think that's right. So
it'll be Tuesday in New Zealand too, but we'll just get there earlier.
That's true. I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to. You're right. The dates are the same. It's just that you'll get it earlier. Maybe. Microsoft is U.S. Headquartered. So
no, you're right. You're right. It'll appear on Wednesday, the following day.
That's it probably will. So definitely check that out. Quick update there. Let's not do a quick one for this Copilot one, Daryl. I want to hear a good standard summary of this update, please, sir.
Yeah, I forgot that I left the standard label on there because, it could be a short one still. What are we talking about? Well, Copilot, yes. Microsoft Copilot. Are we still talking about Microsoft Copilot or Microsoft 365 Copilot? Anyway, the Copilot that's in your Teams experience. File summary in Microsoft Teams chat. This is MC1003344. You're in a chat. Daniel and I are chatting away. We've got a conversation going. Daniel attaches or links a document to that chat and asks Daryl, "Hey, can you check this out and give me some feedback? I'd like to discuss this with you a bit later on today or this week, whenever." Sure. Oh, I forget, all right, because I get super busy, and Daniel and I don't chat, between now and then. Daniel comes back to me a bit later in the week and says, Have you had time to review that document? Sure. And sorry, my camera's not on at the moment. Sorry, Daniel. And secretly I've turned it off because what I'm doing is I'm going to go over to Copilot in the Teams chat and I'm going to ask it for a summary of that document. Whether it be a Word document or a PDF, this new feature will allow me to get that summary within the Teams chat experience. Does it sound like I'm cheating, Daniel?
Maybe a little bit, but in the same vein as, I've seen a commercial where it's highlighting how AI can help you cheat in a way of, remembering somebody you ran into or something you promised and you forgot. So it's a little bit of cheating. I could think of a way of using this in a not so cheating way, but more of a time saver way of, you sent me a document. Do I have time right now to read this document? Because I don't know how long it is. This could be a 15-page document that will take me a half an hour to read. So do I stop right now and read it? Or maybe I use Copilot to give me a summary of this. Is it worth my time to...
You know what? Side comment. Wouldn't a really useful prompt be, how long will this take me to read?
It would be.
That would, and it would be interesting. And tell me how long.
It would be interesting to customize that because, there's some websites that do that too, right? When you
Yeah.
go on, they know how long you spend on a page or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, I agree
Anyway.
with you. I think it would be
Yeah.
good.
Well, like I think, yeah, there's also the not so cheeky way that you could use this to say, well, Daniel's asked me to read this document. What is this about? You know, I do need to read it because he's asked me. This is not a decision thing where give me a summary so I can see whether I should or shouldn't read it.
Well, or
But-
and I think this could be an opportunity, maybe one day. What if you say Copilot? You're like, okay, summarize this for me. Okay, that's what it's about. Okay, Copilot, schedule a meeting for me at my next available 15-minute slot so that I could read this.
Yes, block some time out so I can give this
Yeah.
some focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we should. No, we can't sell those ideas because they're already out there. Anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. So that's the feature. It is just giving you some of that basic ability to ask those questions. If you want to ask anything more detailed, of course, you'll have to open up the document, use the Copilot chat in Word or the PDF experience, which I think is delivered via OneDrive or SharePoint. You can ask questions about the PDF. And get that more detailed experience. The other thing, and I know this is kind of related to this, but if you are attaching a document, Daniel could have created that summary for me beforehand and pasted it along with the link as he shared it, just to give me a summary of what's in the document. That would have made it easier for him, and I would have been able to, I guess, got more interested in this task that he assigned for me to do, to check this document out.
Well, yeah. So the person posting, like you're saying, take it on yourself, create a summary, and post it with it. Please read this document. Here's the summary.
Yep, that's it.
And that way I don't have to do that. I don't have to get
Yeah.
a summary. I don't have to use this functionality it's talking about. But, just like we've been saying forever, people, when you're having a conversation with someone, don't start off the conversation of hi or hello and then sit there and wait for somebody to respond, right? So we've been saying that forever and people still do it. So we could say, hey, post a summary with your document, but people are, I would probably guess more people than not will not do that, right? We'll never create, here's the summary. So use this functionality, have Copilot give you that summary, and then decide, how you go about, do I need to read this? Or maybe it's, thank you for messaging me with this document, but I'm not the right person to review this kind of content. Sally is actually the expert on this. Definitely send this to Sally because she'll have a lot to, she'll be very helpful in reviewing this. So,
I think this is perhaps leading to more capabilities in this space, but up until now, the question that you might ask within a Teams chat using Copilot is using the context of the chat. What's the summary of this conversation? When was the last time I talked to Dan? Were there any tasks that were issued to me in this conversation? So this is kind of a first throw into, I would like to be able to go one layer down into the links that have been referenced in this conversation. Give me a summary. Perhaps we will be able to ask questions eventually about the document without even leaving the chat one day. Maybe that's where we'll be going. But we've got quite a list here of when will this happen. Targeted release rolling out March 2025, complete by mid 2025. General availability worldwide, complete by late March, expected to be complete mid-April. General availability in GCC, mid-May, complete in mid-June. There you go. All right. There are some changes happening in SharePoint Online, and we're kind of like wondering around this. Lists have been a very powerful thing since the advent of SharePoint, the advent of SharePoint. But the experience of entering information into these lists has not been great. What's happening now, Daniel?
Yeah, so this update, SharePoint Online, updates to Microsoft List Forms, MC1005510. So this is a new way for you to, or an updated way for you to create a list form and get responses. Enter into data entered into your list. So you're going to be able to within Microsoft List's home space, within SharePoint, or even in Teams in the List app, be able to create a Microsoft List form, and it's going to, when you do this new creation experience will create the list behind the scenes for you, and basically, give you that in the front, in your face, the list form, right? Now, that's great, but don't we already have a forms product that is for that? Where I understand, and I know I'm not going into details yet. I'll get there, but for this message. But we already have a product that starts off from the form experience to give, that's the purpose. Microsoft List, SharePoint List have always been, I have a list because I have a purpose. I'm trying to gather content, or I'm trying to service content like a contacts list or a locations list or whatever. And so I have a list of things, and I'm servicing them out to you. And so maybe I want to create a form to service those out to you. Maybe it's a help desk scenario list. I've created many of those over the ages of enter in information, track an item through the course of a help desk ticket kind of thing. But we have Microsoft Forms that is that forms supposed to be that forms rich experience. So this message I'm reading, and it's great, and I know that Microsoft's been working on the list form experience because we've been in this middle ground. And I know this is supposed to be a quick message, but I'm taking a little bit longer. We've been in this middle ground or we want more in this middle ground is what I'm saying. Before, all we had was you either had the list form was out of the box, or you could upgrade that list form to a Power App, right? And then you got Power where you could remove, certain columns and not show them, and and then you could do other things too. In the middle ground, we didn't have much. We had some, can do some JSON formatting and hide fields that way, and it wasn't great. And then now comes list forms and get some great functionality. And in this message, we're getting additional functionality. That's great. But when do we get to the point where we have Microsoft Forms, the product, and Microsoft List Forms, the functionality within List, and they're basically the same, but they're different? And why don't we just have one experience, or at least one functionality driving that? I don't know. Now, back to the message. That's my rant. I'll get off my soapbox. This message talking about that addition, that creation experience is going to improve. We're also going to get conditional branching. So if you go and fill in or select something in one column, it can show or hide questions based on previous answers that you've done. Does that sound familiar? Microsoft Forms? Anyway, sorry, I said I was moving on. I wasn't going to rant anymore. We can add a logo. We can do, they are adding additional field types as being supported here. So attachments and location. Lookup's huge for this. So being able to have lookup columns, show, it's fantastic. And then just like in Microsoft Forms, we can also say have a notification, for me to get a notification when somebody fills it out, or a start and end date for when the form is something that is available for people to fill out. It's great functionality. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's not. I think it's great functionality. It looks pretty slick. I just feel like it's another opportunity for people to go, well, why would I use this and not Microsoft Forms? Why couldn't it be that if I'm in a list and I want to create a Microsoft form for that list, then I just use the same functionality. We just hook Microsoft Forms in and connect it, and make the experience, I don't know. Maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe the background functionality is the Microsoft Forms functionality. I don't know. But it seems like it's not. Sorry, I turned that into a big, huge rant. It was supposed to be just
time.
A quick
We had
yeah.
time. It's worth exploring.
Yeah. Targeted release began rolling out early January 2025. I'm glad they let us know. Mid-February, they've told us it started last month and completed by mid-February. General availability, worldwide GCC, GCC High, and DoD begin rolling out mid-February, so now-ish, and expected to be completed by late March 2025. Thank you for putting up with my rant, people. Maybe you've just fast-forwarded through this, but, whatever. Thank you for that.
Use the chapters.
Yeah, use the chapters. All right, let's finish things up, Daryl, with a chat.
Yes.
But while you're sharing your screen,
I'm sharing my screen. Yes, while I'm in a meeting.
Yes.
Microsoft Teams access chats while sharing a screen. This is... Where is the message number? There it is. I scrolled down. MC1006624. Now this particularly is a problem for people who might be using a single screen. You're on a laptop, you're sitting in a hotel or whatever else, that you don't have another screen with you. And you have the responsibility of running a meeting and potentially also having to manage an online audience who might be asking questions, who might be wanting to interact with you. And when you go to share your screen and demonstrate something or present something, not thinking of PowerPoint Live, but content that's on your screen, we go into this mode where we have little, gallery view, pictures of people that, the last 4 active speakers, or you can change that. You've got your toolbar along the top of what else do I want to do with this meeting and controlling bits and pieces. And you're presenting stuff and you're dragging that crazy bar out of the way because you can now. The one that goes across your toolbar. Anyway, but one thing that has been missing, and we hear this, Daniel and I do at least in some meetings, where the presenter will say, I can't look at chat, so just come off mute or raise your hand or something and ask your questions. That way I won't be able to monitor the chat because I can't see it. But this allows you to click the chat button on the toolbar from a shared screen and see a chat window. So you'll be able to move that window wherever you need to. It'll be over the top of your shared content. Actually, I didn't see how that might work. It does look like that in the screenshot, but whether or not there's options to pin it to keep it on top, or it doesn't mention anything like that. This is just me thinking ahead. But the point is, you can see that chat on the screen while you're presenting. Drag it and make sure that it's out of the way, but you can do this now from a single screen. For those of us who are using 2 screens, no problem. We would do that. I don't know about you, Daniel, but when I go to share my screen, everything shrinks down and assumes that I'm using one screen. And what I usually do is double click, bring up my screen with my people and the chat along the side, and then I put it somewhere so I can see it and glance at it, and then also go back to demonstrate. And that's how I use my 2 screen way. How do you do that?
Yeah, it's the same thing. If I'm sharing the screen where Teams was sitting, I'll go back and drag it to the other screen, or pop up, individual items onto the screen. So. Yep. So, those of us with a single screen, well, those of us who want to manage it all from that singular meeting experience and turn on chat, you can now. And this will be rolling out. Targeted release mid-March, complete by late March. General availability to worldwide, GCC, GCCI, and DoD, rolling out mid-April and complete by late May. Fantastic. That's the show. Yeah, amazing.
Good number of messages.
Absolutely. And, we covered many different products, and, thanks for for being here, everybody, for learning along with us. Did we talk about something, touch on something that, really sparked an interest in you? Throw it down in chat into the comments. We'd love to, interact with you and get your thoughts and feelings about any of the messages. Did we not cover a message that you thought we should have? Throw that down there too. Let's have a conversation and help each other again with this crazy, ever-changing world that we're in this technology world. We're inundated with all these messages, and let's help each other out as we move forward. Thank you.
Definitely. I appreciate it when people who have domain knowledge in some of these more specific messages can give the deeper view and angle on what is impacting us here, because sometimes it's just not obvious, even if the message has been well written. Maybe we just don't have a clue about that particular topic. Yeah. So we do our best, but we value you as a community when you do the same. So please do. We really, really welcome it. So thank you for joining us this week, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.